Yeah, we are just connecting now also on YouTube, so whoever is not on Zoom will be able to follow this event in the other channel provided by the lead partner, and which will be also available to rehearse it for whoever cannot attend this event this morning. Welcome to everyone. On behalf of Mrs. Irene Nicotra, who is not present today, I am just giving you the agenda of the meeting and then give the floor to the different speakers. This is an event which concludes a project financed by the German program EUKI, which we thank, and we thank also the representative to be attending and will be also welcoming us after the initial welcome from engineer Silvia Borgo, who is the director of the technical services of the lead partner. After that, Michela Chiti will be presenting an outline of HINGE overall, what we had in mind when applying for the project, and what have been the activities carried out and the results which have been attained. And then the floor will be given to each one of the three partners, starting from Brașov County from Romania, followed by Vas County, and then again by Livorno Province, who will be individually presenting their strategic action plan, which is the final deliverable of this project. I'll then be asking all participants to kindly fill in online a customer satisfaction questionnaire, which will be very useful in order to improve also future events like the one we are attending today. And then finally, we would like to have some sort of summing up conversation in conclusion, what we intend to do once that HINGE is over. And we'll be then referring to the protocol which has been signed by the three partners. And we'll also like to hear from EUKI about the next call, which is going to be published shortly, and other initiatives, and a farewell to meet again in the future in other projects as well. So we'll now give the floor to Engineer Borgo from Livorno Province, who will give us the institutional welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning. Welcome to the final event presenting HINGE project, of which Province of Livorno is lead partner, and that is co-founded by the German program EUKI, European Climate Initiative, promoting since 2017 climate action projects in Europe. I am Silvia Borgo, responsible in charge of technical services of Province of Livorno. In 2014, the Del Rio law reorganized the Italian provinces and specified them as wide area bodies. The new system redefined their fundamental functions, among which are particularly important territorial planning, environmental protection and enhancement, planning of public and private transport services, construction and management of provincial roads. The shape of our territory and of its landscape identities is confronted with a multiplicity of aspects. Maritime transport to guarantee territorial continuity with the islands, local public transport focused on home, school, and homework journeys, interconnections in the infrastructure network, such as maritime stations, railway stations, airports, bus terminals, etc. The Ciclovia Tirrenica, that is the Tyrrhenian cycle route and is under construction, and others. Through its fundamental functions, the province of Livorno is therefore directly involved in pursuing climate objectives of decarbonization, protection of citizens' health, and reduction of air pollution caused by public and private transport. The province of Livorno, in recent years, has gained important experience with European planning, and starting in 2017 with the European project 3T, thematic trail trigger, began a trail of collaboration with our Romanian and Hungarian partners. The good work carried out over these years and the sharing of common objectives has led to the consolidation of our relations by signing a protocol among the three partners for future collaboration on key issues such as those of EUKI program. Therefore, with the hope that this pathway started some time ago will lead to a synergic increase of actions in our partner territories, we open this final event of HINGE program and welcome EUKI program representative and the participants, all of them, and the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Silvia. Now we are glad to introduce Luciana Lero, Special Advisor of EUKI Program.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Okay, perfect. I'm here with two laptops. It's a bit complicated. I had some issues with the audio, but I hope everything will work fine. I will share my presentation and I hope you can all see it. Yes, perfect. Okay, well then, good morning and hello from snowy Berlin. It's great to see all of you and thank you for inviting me. I will be shortly presenting the European Climate Initiative. I assume most of you already know our funding program for climate action projects in Europe, so I will keep it short and concise. Let me start with the objectives. We support the realization of ideas to accelerate climate action in Europe, to support the European climate goal, which is climate neutrality until 2050. And for this, we finance cross-border projects. We are strengthening civil society. We are providing trainings and just try to bring the European climate action community together to foster a vibrant exchange of ideas and expertise. And of course, you as an EUKI project are also part of the EUKI community, which we are very grateful for. You probably also know the EUKI Academy. With the EUKI Academy, we run events and trainings on climate action for the EUKI community, and this can be networking events, this can be seminars, web seminars on climate policy knowledge, or also capacity building trainings. And so far, you are one of 440 organizations, or many of 440 organizations which are part in the EUKI community, and one project out of 210. So we're growing and growing here at the European Climate Initiative, and we work in 34 countries that are 25 countries from European member states, which are European member states, and then the 6 Western Balkan countries. And so far we have a funding volume of 95 million euro. And I think what's here important to say is, since your project is about to be completed very soon, you will stay part of the EUKI community, of course. So we are very happy if yours participate in EUKI Academy web seminars, for example. You can find those on our website and still engage with us and also fellow projects. And you can always still contact colleagues from the EUKI Academy or also from our press relation team, which are more than happy to hear about successes and further developments which developed through the project also after it has ended. And if you, for example, want to use the EUKI Academy as a platform to present your final results of the project, then yeah, we are very happy to facilitate that. Just send me an email or the colleagues directly. I will also You will also see my email address at the end. It's also in my name now. So yeah, we are very happy to still hear from you. One more thing that might be of interest for you is that we are shortly opening our 8th call for project ideas. I can't tell you an exact date yet, but just stay tuned. Check our website regularly and maybe also sign up to our newsletter, and then you will be informed about the exact date when the new project call opens, and some information on that. So generally, we fund projects with a funding volume between 120,000 and 1 million euro. The project duration is between 18 and 29 months, and the project consortium should be made up from 1 implementing organization and up to 4 partner organizations. And then implementers and target groups looking like this here. So we only fund non-profit organizations. You can see which are those here. And then, of course, the target groups of the individual projects are a bit more broad, from national governments to municipalities, regional agencies, education institutions, civil society, and so on. And you will find more information on the exact way of applying and what your project has to entail on our website very soon. So just check that every now and then. And if you have some questions in between, then you can always send me an email, or you can send an email to our info post. We are very much looking forward to continue to collaborate with you in the future, to hear from you, and also to maybe receive some new projects ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Luciana. One moment. We are waiting for Ivo Tartaglia, Project Coordinator, Province of Livorno.
Non sta arrivando lei. So neanche per la sua presentazione.
Non ce l'ho. I'm sorry. We have
Because we have the TV at the same time, we've come for an interview. I mean, too many activities overlapping. Thank you very much for
your patience.
For Euki for her presentation and the indication that have been given about the future opportunities, which we would like very much to discuss today, as I said, when concluding this event. C'è una presentazione, allora l'inizio anch'io, non so come. Si fa la scuola,
La condivido se vuoi.
Allora comincio io, dai.
Facessimo partire il partner successivo. Una persona.
Io non sono una
quello è da in basso, in basso, in basso, in basso, poi da un po' l'icona. Sì, più in là, più là, più a destra. Più a destra, prova un po'. Quell'altra ancora una, ancora un po'.
E questi sono da pubblicità.
Waiting for Michela Kitty to continue with the presentation, not to, in order to go smoothly and not to have to wait. Let's proceed with the first presentation, which is related to the overall description of HINGE, which is promoting bike to public transport intermodality with 3 partners from Italy, Romania, and Hungary. And the inspiration was the fact that the COVID-19 pandemic has strongly intensified cycling as a model of personal transport. This was welcomed as a development because it was an incentive to search for sustainable mobility patterns. But the question was that cycling sometimes was not suitably interconnected with other modes of transport, such as bus or trains or boats and so on. And the purpose of the project was to assess the efficiencies in order to make more popular the use of transport modes which are more friendly towards the environment. So the main goal was helping the EU to achieve its climate goals of decarbonization, protection of citizen health, and reduction of air pollution, which is coming from public and private transport. So the idea was to try to promote a closer relation in the chain of flexible transport in partner region, both in urban and rural centers, by leveraging European, national, regional, and local funding with this aim.
Yeah.
Sorry. The project partners support regional and municipal governments of Livorno Province, Italy, Basque County, Hungary, and Brasov County, Romania, in formulating strategic action plans. Those plans provide the necessary frameworks to strengthen the integration between bike, bus, train, and other modes of sustainable transport. Integration measures vary across regions, but are all centered around physical connection of cycling and public transit, such as expanding cycle path networks and connecting them safely to public transit. So we try to have the name of the project HINGE, like higher by transit, intermodality via good experience. Inside the promote bike to public transport intermodality, we have choose targets group. So we have built a stakeholder list with cyclists for work and or leisure, students incentivized to cycle to school, workers incentivized to cycle to work, companies, local communities and tourists, managing authorities of various EU national or regional programs, overarching public institutions, cyclist associations, environmental groups, research bodies, trade association, and economic operator, in the end, communities at large.
Right. I'll try now to provide to whoever is not conversant with the HINGE project some of the basic features and what the project has been able to achieve. So we know that the main theme is this interlink, and the methodological approach was to identify 5 major categories. The first one was, in fact, interlinkages between biking and other transport modes, and also paying adequate attention to the hubs, like railway stations, bus interchange, harbors, parking places, and residential areas, as they can be able to provide or support services like security, rentals of space for storing the bikes and so on, maintenance and minor repairs and information. The second category was parking and storage. In other words, facilities in order to ensure that bikes can be kept in safe conditions, either at home or near to shops, commercial centers, workplaces, schools, and so on. And then the third category was related to the use, as it was mentioned earlier, of bicycles in order to commute from home to working place. And this entails a number of aspects like parking, free for bikes, charge for cars in order to disincentivize the use of motorized means of transport, security and other facilities like lockers and so on, promoting bicycle plans in business and offices. This is crucial in order to have a strategic approach to promoting an enlarged use of bicycle in the workplace. And then the question of avoiding that using the bike can also expose the user to risk of accidents, and therefore the need of training courses and other prevention measures. And then incentivizing also by providing fringe benefits and rewards, like free tickets to cinemas and so on, logistic arrangements, employers and the colleagues' attitude to cycling, try to see how this expectation can be remodeled, because use of bikes can be seen also in the working place, sometimes in a positive, sometimes in a less positive aspect. And then, like people moving to work, also students, pupils moving from home to school. And here we have had a series of good practices which have improved our knowledge about how to promote it, also through a reward system like the one of an experience done recently in the Livorno area and so on. And then the fourth one is a logistic category, which has to do with how to transport the bikes and how to facilitate the transfer from one mode of transport to another by introducing limitations or incentives, or trying, for instance, to introduce integrated tariffs by which whoever travels by bike can be allowed to have a discounted transport cost, and the combination of tickets for not only bus and train, but also for bikers at, as I said, lower cost. Then the final one, which has to do with information and communication technology, where we picked up, for instance, one aspect which has to do with the mobility as a service, offering travel solutions based on the real travel needs. The question of not only car sharing, but trying to promote more the bike sharing. And of course, the increased digitalization of information and combining them in the existing or in new apps. What did we do in HINGE? We started with a status quo assessment, in other words, a photograph of where each of the regions stood, and that was integrated by a special startup local survey. We shared the common questionnaire, which was then translated into the national language and distributed, and we were able to receive over 1,000 feedbacks from the interviewed people. This was very interesting because provided not only a better knowledge of the user or non-users, but also gave the opportunity of knowing what were the expectations coming from the community. Starting from that, we moved into stage 2, which was documenting good experiences which were coming from one of the regions and being offered to other regions. In that respect, we also were heavily supported by the Interreg Europe program, in which all partners have been already involved in other projects. Why that? Because they have, as a program, a policy learning platform where they put together all the good practices which are being documented at the European level. And they were able to sieve some of those good practices and offer it to HINGE in order for us to analyze and pick up the ones which were most relevant or most interesting to us. After the documentation of the good practices, we moved into the next step, which was each partner acting or their consultants acting as tutors for other partners who were interested to acquire these experiences and tailor them to their needs. All that was essential in order then to formulate the 3 strategic action plan, which represent now the core of the event, because as I said earlier in the agenda, every partner will be given the opportunity to present to all of you what they have designed and what they want to implement in the coming years. And on communication, we had the opportunities of having conferences like the one online here, but also intermodality day events in which we physically met and shared with local communities as partners a number of experiences, and which were extremely successful. The first one was in Livorno in April, was followed by a second one in Hungary in September, and then the following month in Brașov County in Romania. And press releases were issued accordingly, which are available in the EUKI portal, plus local ones which were published by the different partners in connection with each one of those events or other activities they have been carrying out locally. Thank you.
Thank you, Ivo and Michela, for entering into the merits of the project. And now the word to the partners for the presentation of the strategic action plan. The first presentation is from Reynolds Stadler, external expert of Brașov County Council. Good morning.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, like you mentioned, Reinhold Stadler is my name. I'm supporting the Brașov County Council in this project, and will briefly present you the action plan that we have developed together with our local stakeholders within this project. So, like you all mentioned also before, we are working around improving intermodality for bicycling. And in this regard, you know, from most of our scientific studies and what is available publicly, we know that the bike plus train combination is the more efficient version for medium and long-term transport. So the bike for last mile transport combined with the train with the obviously feasible and strong public transport service. So from this basic idea, we started to develop our action plan. And like each of the partners, we also done this survey locally. It's not necessarily a representative survey, but it is something more or less to better understand how cycling and how the need for better intermodality in terms of cycling is in the Brașov County. So going further, what we could find out from this survey, more or less validating what we already knew, the fact that indeed we need to first develop the basic cycling infrastructure, meaning lanes and paths and so on, while then focusing together on strengthening this network with obviously strong improvements in terms of intermodality. At the moment, we have a rather large variety of cycling users in Brașov, in the county also, but most of them use the bicycle for leisure. Brașov and the county is more or less a very renowned cycling destination in Romania, and this is why still most of the inhabitants and also of the tourists come and use their bike in the forests and in the surroundings of the city more or less for leisure, less at the moment, unfortunately, for commuting. And this is something we obviously want to strengthen. And here is from what we are starting. So on the left side, you can see the challenges we are addressing, but also what we are doing. So at the moment, we have a county-wide feasibility study in work for 1,000 kilometers of bicycle lanes, more or less in the whole county. Additionally, we have a cycling master plan for Brasov, the main city of the county, which is already being implemented with more than 100 kilometers of cycling lanes. So we'll have in the next year and the next 2 years, probably the basic network of cycling infrastructure on which we can build. So the most important safe and segregated cycling lanes. Going further, we then still have uncertainties regarding the responsibility of cycling routes outside of the city, the county routes, who will be responsible, how will they be maintained, and so on. We still have huge challenges of transporting bikes on trains. You're not allowed to transport your bike on train unless the train has a specific cycling rack or cycling storage. Otherwise, you're not really allowed to do this, and this is very important because being an important cycling destination in Romania, probably one of the most important ones, it's important to be able to transport your bike towards Brasov. We have a shuttle service for bikes from the city to the mountain resort, to the Pana Brasov, which is working very well. It's also good best practice example, also in the network. But we still have an underdeveloped cycling parking facilities network. So we are just started to build parking racks. We have the first 100 places being built in the last year. Now we have residential parking garages. I think there are 3 of them. So we are still at the start. We have a very strong cycling culture, but more towards sports. So mountain bike is something pretty common in Brasov. And we have a very strong culture in this regard, but we also have a very strong car culture. So people are used to drive everywhere. Even the even persons who cycle professionally still drive cars. So this is something we still have to fight. And obviously, lack of data regarding cycling mobilities and the fact that tourists mostly come by car, even though the city is quite accessible by train. So from these challenges, we then started. We combined them with best practices and good practices or good examples from the network. We had Berlin Südkreuz or Szombathely train station, which inspired us with very simple things. I mean, how to transport your bikes on the stairs, how to develop a cycling parking which is safe and also accessible. Then we have the bus and bike service, which we took from the Interreg policy learning platform. We have the safe network of parking places for bicycles from Victoria Gasteiz, which to some extent we also have it locally. And then we have the apps, Portable, Atlas of Soft Mobility, Belamosa, Pinbike. Each of them have been an inspiration for us to somehow start thinking and making the transition to mobility as a service and finding means to incentivize cycling. More or less as a surprise from our study visits, we could also see a good practice that we couldn't necessarily find on the list. So we basically could see that Livorno has an e-bike fleet, a personal e-bike fleet, which is something we consider to be some very good approach also for our case. And from this, we started into the 4 actions with 2 backup actions, which we are still thinking if it is doable. I will present them briefly in the next few minutes. So the first action basically extends one of our internal best practices. Now, basically, it is about the line for which for the moment has bicycle racks. It's a bus with bicycle racks attached, where you can carry your bike to Poiana Brașov. It's a 12-kilometer road with very steep between Brașov and the mountain resort, where all the bike park is. So it's very used. In summary, you will find huge queues there. And we try to extend this route to also have a second route to another city in the surroundings, close to the resort, Ryshnov. So having a secondary bus route that is able to carry bikes, mostly mountain bikes in this case, and to improve the access of the bike park from the mountain resorts. So this falls under bicycle transportation and transfer. Then we have what we could see in Szombathely, but also in Livorno and other cases, the possibility and the need to further improve parking facilities in train station. In Romania at the moment, train stations are not really considered yet as intermodal hubs. So this is why we are trying to improve this and just do simple things. To have one train station which will be equipped with a bicycle parking facility in good conditions and safe, and with some ramps in order to be able to carry your bike when accessing the train station, so transporting your bike on stairs. This we could see in Szombathely, like mentioned, also in Livorno and in other places we visited within our study visits. The third one is a pop-up bicycle lane that we want to build. We have with the red, you can see what is already being built. It's a link, basically a pop-up cycle lane that will link the most important three centers of the city. With green, you have lanes that are already existing to some extent, and with red, what will be built in the next few months, hopefully. And then we want to extend them with a pop-up bicycle lane with the orange line to the historical center. So basically connecting the train station, the new area, the mall, and the new housing development to the train station, to the civic center and to the historical center, and building a important transport corridor for cycling and obviously further boosting intermodality. The next one is something you probably know. In Italy, it's quite well developed. We want to slowly start developing our mass platform. This we will do step by step. It will take some time to integrate all the public transport services, first those operated by public entities, and then to also try to integrate private entities such as ride sharing and e-scooter sharing and everything that is available, but this will take some time. It's based on the multiple incentivizing apps and software that we could see in the program. And last but not least, the county council's own e-bike fleet extension. It's an extension because we already acquired the first e-bike, which was also tested to some extent in our study visit in Brasov. So we want to have a small fleet which is available for the employees of the county council, either to do daily trips, to meetings, to various site visits, or to use them as for commuting, to briefly borrow them for 1 week or 2 weeks. But this is with a in a limited framework. So basically, the small cycling fleet of the county council, in order to again replace the need of being transported or doing your trips by car. Okay, I think this is more or less what we are planning to do. Some things, like I mentioned, we already started. And with this in mind, thanks for all the inspiration. Thanks for this wonderful journey. And I'm giving the floor to Vash County to present their action plan.
Thank you, Rainy. Okay, so welcome everybody in the final event of the project. It is a pleasure to be here and present you the Sub-Government Office of Vash County Strategic Action Plan as their external experts. The HINGE project gave the opportunity to examine the needs and possibilities of improvements regarding the intermodality, which enables to promote a sustainable ways of transportation. When selecting the good practices, it was very important for us to find practices and measures which can actually be implemented in the country with real benefits. And the second Intermodal Day, where you have also took part with us in Szombat, Helyence and Gotthard, was forming our view much more about the project. And we have multiple players involved in the project, such as municipalities, transport operators, traffic organizers, the Transport Science Institute, local communities, and bicycle organizations. And the first action that we chose is the sensitization of road users. And this is a good odd practice. The project in this exact complex form has not been implemented yet anywhere in the world. So we would like to be the first one who can actually do it.
Vivian, bocs, hogy megzavarlak, de nem megy az előadásod. A kezdőlapot
Az baj, pedig én léptetem.
Sorry to disturb, but we don't see the slides changing, or at least I don't see. Just the first page.
I will check it because I'm changing it. So 1 second and we. Mm-hmm.
Right. Vivian, if you want, we can share your presentation. If you advise us when we have to turn the page, the slides. A bus.
Jó. Jó, egy kis türelem. Zárd be a HINGE-ben.
Okay.
I'm sorry, we are trying to solve it.
Don't worry.
Most igen.
Okay, so if I just keep it like this, it can work. But if I try to start it, unfortunately, it's somehow, I don't know why it's not working. So I will do it like this, if you don't mind. So I'm sorry, I will go back to the first action that we chose into our strategic action plan. The first action was the sensitization of road users, and this is an odd good practice because this has not been yet institutionalized anywhere in the world, and we would like to be the first one who can actually make a real good practice out of it, an existing one. And several parts, of course, of it can be found at different levels of national institutional system, for example, in organization of driving schools, cycling organization, and police accident prevention campaigns. And the lack of security is the biggest restraining force from cycling, and we would like to solve this challenge or at least help this challenge. Sensitizing car drivers, motorists, pedestrians, road workers, and other road users in order to be more tolerant and attentive towards each other. Let them get to know each other's fears and problems and find common points of intersection that can be used to increase not only traffic safety, but also the subjective sense of security and also the objective sense of security. And as a result of the measure, traffic safety increases, thereby reducing the number of accidents, and the number of target groups and people who can be involved in cycling and intermodal transport increases. The main costs of the project include the preparation of a preliminary survey and analysis, and then, of course, based on these, a creation of the feasibility concept. After the concept plan has been accepted, the operative part of the program can start. We would like to organize events, social event campaigns, and holding lectures, conducting sensitization. And these parts are built on each other. And by continuously sensitizing the generation of new entrants to the traffic, an increasing proportion of all traffic participations will acquire the desirable behavior. The second action we would like to implement in the county is the bicycle boxes, what you can see on the photo too. Of course, there are more types of these bicycle boxes, but we plan to choose one bike per box solution. And this is a safe storage room for the bicycles. And there are different payment methods also and different options. In not only solution you need to pay, there can be also an application created for them to use where people can subscribe. And increasing property security and thereby reducing the burden on law enforcement agencies would be the goal. And this system is way more private system than any guarded bike storages, because it is important to mention that not only the bike itself can be stored in these storages, but helmets, accessories, clothes, shoes, basically anything together with the bike, which cannot be made in just a simple camera guarded bike storage. And the second action that we chose into our strategic action plan is the development of the existing bicycle traffic counting device in Vas County into a complex system. We already have one working bicycle counter operating in the county, but one device is not enough to create a real network of it and to help the traffic organization. Because with this bicycle counter, basically we would like to enable the traffic organization and also the utilization of the given trails, and also improve the bicycle paths throughout the county. And this, an indirect benefit with this is basically traffic management. Fewer traffic jams could be expected if we are talking about cars, but right now, as this is about bicycle trails, the main importance is that we can actually create a real network of secure bicycle passes, and we can check which trail is important, which trail is popular, which trail needs improvements. Maybe there are trails that we actually don't need. And by its very nature, this is a continuous measure. So the measuring device not only shows a one-time state, but also continuously measures and presets the parameters. And with more information, of course, we can improve more. And by participating in the HINGE project, we actually took steps towards a more sustainable transportation culture in the county. And of course, there's still a long way to go in front of us. And most of the projects, actually all of the projects, are planned to finance by tender resources. So continuous monitoring of relevant tenders are very, very necessary and also planned. And further developments for the project is requiring also taking part in like projects. And thank you very much for the attention, and I'm sorry for the technical problem. We also have a construction going on next to us, and we have some Wi-Fi issues, so maybe it is in connection with the problem that we had. But in case you have any questions, just feel free to contact us in the given contacts. And thank you very much.
Are you hearing now?
Now, yes.
Okay, now yes. Okay, thank you. Sorry. Also, I'm Michela Chiti. I am here to illustrate our strategic action plan and I'm representing the Livorno province. And I would like to start to illustrate our policy contest that is represented by a multi-level system of governance in which we find a recursive loop of public management through planning, programming, managing, and design. Especially between two levels, that is the regional one, and we have the hours. Instead of the top is representing the European level. With the acronym PTCP represents the Provincial Coordination Territorial Plan. That is the planning act by which the province exercises its role of governing the territory, linking and adapting to the region territorial policies, coordinating and directing urban planning at municipal level, and provincial sector planning like the SAMP that we illustrate after. The mainly planning policy instruments is our Provincial Coordination Territorial Plan, is the provincial planning instrument aimed at governing territorial resources through their protection and valorization. And Livorno province is currently updating its plan, the policy instrument identified by the treat, IBASED, and promoter project funded by Interreg Europe program on various topics which will have the opportunity to influence PTCP drafting. And now the updated PTCP is scheduled to be adopted in 2024 and is supported by relevant complementary policies. PTCP is built with the participation of all municipalities and stakeholders, thus becoming a shared and applicable governance tool. PTCP steering and coordination function helps implementing specialized sector plans and programs. For example, for local transport and mobility, like SAMP or our local public transport plans, by devising strategic initiative to foster the adoption of sustainable means and modes of transport, establish related infrastructure, effectively use a geographical information system, GIS, for the authorities' activities, and a decision-making support. To support policy towards more sustainable mobility, Livorno province last year started to design her wide area sustainable urban mobility plans. These plans is a new one and is a new policy instruments for sustainable mobilities and is supported in turn by the provincial local public transport plan, which is a related planning and management measure that includes 29 municipalities that have signed the agreement with the province of Livorno for the management of local transport for the next 10 years and the promotion of sustainable mobility actions throughout the area. The SAMP of Livorno Large Area has among its main objectives the improvement of interconnection, especially for the road and rail network. HINGE provides innovative contribution for provincial planning, including the redesign of intersection and exchange point to make them more useful and safer. On this basis, we have reached the good practices to guide our strategic action in line with the provincial objectives, in particular on the PCP currently being updated. Therefore, the SAMP stakeholders were also involved in the HINGE project and represent in particular Provincial Territorial Information System, GIS, municipalities, Associated Service for European Planning, that is the SEPA, transport operators, cyclists, and local communities. Our HINGE Strategic Action Plan of Livorno province, among the strategic categories identified by HINGE project, our plans recognize the first, that is interconnection between cycling and other modes of transport hubs, the fourth one, the bicycle transport transfer, and the last one with the information communication technologies as the priority ones for the time being. First, the first action, that is extra-urban intermodality planning interconnection by mapping the territory, represent our national territory, present points of attraction that are too often poorly connected. Interchange nodes become very important assets to enable the missing connections. Such a mapping becomes a valuable policy tool for institutions. The province of Livorno hopes to use the soft mobility platform created by the National Railway Network within a model to profile new interchange strategies. To this end, It will expand the current mapping of cycle routes and cycle paths in the provincial GIS for future users. For example, by linking routes to original destination, such as the area of silence that we are recognized with the project of Treaty. And this is the hub, the railway station of Livorno, Legern, and for the first intermodality day that we have had. The action 2 is about the peri-urban intermodality, adapting the public transportation system to bicycle carrying capacity, and the installation of bicycle racks on public transportation allows an innovative boarding service for non-motorized users, like young people, commuters, disadvantaged people, or other categories, offering then support for traveling long or unsuitable distances. This seeks to make interchange modes and points effective in favor of logistic of coexistence between heavy vehicles and soft mobilities. And for us, it could be possible that it's an opportunity with our public transport during the summer, that we have a lot of tourists. The action 3 is urban-suburban security, adopting smart and creative solutions to enhance road safety. As we seek to reverse the hierarchy of means circulating on the road, we need to focus on ensuring the safety for users who hold the weakest rung of this ladder. Creative, intelligent interventions on road markings like smart lighting, 3D crossroad, fluorescent bike lane, how you can see in the images, can help achieve this goal. We would like to provide for spot interventions to make intersections characterized by intense traffic levels to different means of transport, heavy and light SAFA. Interventions on pedestrian crossing, section of bicycle lanes, and illuminated sign envisaged. For the future, within the frame of the planning instruments, we envisage an expansion of the provincial mosaic of strategic interventions for sustainable mobility and renewable energy supply. Future development will be supported by the expansion of interregional cooperation to promote innovative projects, focusing on the terrestrial cycle routes that you can see with the blue line on the image on the right, currently under construction. The actions envisaged in the province's HINGE strategic action plan could identify synergic implementations with the Costa of Etruschi Green Community Development Plans, financed with the PNRR funds, our national funds, that is the municipality that are inside the green dot line, and with promoter financed by Interreg Europe. And we hope other projects in future to start. In particular, the Costa degli Etruschi Green Community Development Plan, which the province is implementing together with the municipality for the enhancement of the Tyrrhenian cycle route, also focuses on new areas of tourist attraction, soft mobility, and experimentation with an updated and functional network signposting, not only to enhance the safety of cycle paths, but also to better valorize the area's resources. Thank you so much, and I'm here to attend your question. Now, I ask you, we have finished our presentation, and I ask you, please, if you can fill in the customer satisfaction questionnaire that I put inside the chat. Please, only 5 minutes. And we stop 1 moment, 5 minutes to fill in the customer satisfaction questionnaire, and we go to the conclusion of this morning. If you are ready, we start with the conclusion. Are you hearing me?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Please, Ivo, if you want.
Well, we will briefly try to summarize what are the major outcomes of HINGE project And would like to leave the floor then also to the other representatives of the other partners to also share with us their conclusions and what is awaiting us next in terms of future cooperation. If we can, in 2 words, summarize the major outcome, as we have seen, is the opportunity given by HINGE to formulate those strategic action plans, but also setting up a cooperation that resulted in, as suggested by other partners, in the opportunity of drawing a memorandum among the 3 partners in order to continue their cooperation in other fields with an initial time framework of 5 years and hopefully prolonged upon other successful achievements together. The memorandum was initially discussed when we met in April in Livorno and was eventually signed in October in connection with the third intermodality day, which took place in Brasov County. And in terms of the first outcome, the strategic action plans, which have been illustrated by the partners, as we have seen earlier, 2 elements have been inspiring these action plans. One was the putting together experiences coming from other successful projects, from what has been made available by the policy learning platform of Interreg Europe, as I said. We have been analyzing them, and then we explored their potential context to see whether it could be re-engineered or tailored in order to meet the needs of the recipient partner. The second one is that, as you have seen also in the presentation, there has been an extensive networking with our local transport users, but not only the other stakeholders, in order to make sure that whatever was planned could be successfully implemented in the future. So those plans have laid the foundation for truly sustainable transport patterns. And we hope that in this way we can go ahead in helping decarbonizing, reducing air pollution, and try to give our contribution to a better health of our citizens. But this is in some informal conclusions. When we designed the project at start, it was meant to be mostly local activities with some matching events or matching opportunities in order to compare notes and continue proceeding, each one in our own direction. It's like if we were traveling on the same HINGE train, but we were sitting in 3 different wagons. But then eventually we realized that it was much more profitable to stay all together in one wagon. In other words, what? Having more frequent meetings than originally planned. We have met about 17 times, all recorded and all participated by our consultant and of course stakeholders as well as the partners. We held, as we said earlier, 2 conferences, had 3 intermodality days which were extremely successful, and the 5 tutoring sessions. But also important is that we developed together a common methodology and templates, which we then shared and applied. And that was not only for the status quo survey, but was also for the template of the good experiences and the template for the formulation of the strategic action plan. and others which we do not mention here, but the partners know very well how intensive this methodological application has been. And then, in other words, if we can say that if we went on our own, we would have gone maybe even faster or maybe slower, having found a common pace or a common cycling rhythm, then through this joint cooperation, we have definitely gone probably at a farther distance than we were originally envisaged. And then going to more trivial conclusion, HINGE could be for us like an yeast that can help through cooperation to develop new recipes for common projects together. And this is what we would like to put on the table of our stakeholders and our communities in order to help them to a better and more sustainable development. Thank you. And we leave the floor to the other partners, to representatives, as I say, to come in. I understand that Peter wants to say a word, and we hope also Imelda or Alina would like to join in these conclusions, giving their own impressions and points of view. Thank you.
So I could be the first. Thank you. Hi, everybody, dear partners and dear stakeholders. First of all, I would like to thank you for your excellent cooperation, which contributed to the implementation of the project. As the head of the Vas County Government Office, I would like to convey my special thanks to the German Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Protection for co-financing this excellent project, and also to the province of Livorno for taking the role of being the lead partner of the project. Thank you, Irene. Thank you, Ivo. This was the first time of implementing a project under this program for us. And I can say that we have gained a lot of experience in the field of intermodal transportation. Although the project has come to the end, the partnership and the good relation between us probably continue to be fruitful. I hope we will have several successful joint project applications in the future, for instance, in this EUKI program, but also in other programs. Thank you very much. And we will cooperate in the future too. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ivo.
Alina, o să mă ajut să traduci, da? Te rog. Doresc să mulțumesc și eu în numele Consiliului Județean Brașov pentru implicarea tuturor stakeholderilor în acest proiect pe care i-am avut alături în acest demers.
So I would like to thank also the, as representative of Brașov County Council, all the stakeholders we have involved in this project.
De asemenea, le mulțumesc partenerilor alături de care am implementat acest proiect.
And I also like to thank the partners with whom we implemented this project.
De-a lungul proiectului am reușit să elaborăm un plan strategic pe care dorim să-l și implementăm în următoarea perioadă, în următorii ani.
During this project, we managed to conclude also today a strategic action plan, which we aim to implement in the following years.
Și contăm și în această etapă de implementare, contăm pe toți stakeholderii pe care i-am avut alături.
And of course, also for the coming period, we count on all our local partners, which we had and continue to have in the future.
De asemenea, în toate proiectele pe care le inițiază partenerii noștri, o să fim implicați direct sau indirect.
And also in the coming projects, we are going to support either directly or indirect all the efforts made by the Romanian partners in the future projects.
Deja următorul proiect care este în pregătire, care va accesa tot o finanțare UCI, vom fi alături de Agenția de Dezvoltare Durabilă a județului Brașov.
And we express also from now the full support we are giving to Agency for Sustainable Development of Brașov County, which is going to be a partner in the future EUCI project.
Încă o dată mulțumiri tuturor pentru implicare și succes în proiectele viitoare.
Thank you all for the involvement and participation, and good luck for the future projects.
Thank you, Ivo, and thank you, Alina.
Yes, the desire to remain in the same wagon is acknowledged. We are very happy of that, so our journey can continue together. And thank you, Alina, for anticipating what is the next step. Our idea is possibly to capitalize on the experience of this program in order to present a candidacy for a project on a different field, and we are already working on it. So this is the first significant evidence of that the memorandum which was signed could be really implemented in a practical and effective and rapid way. So we would like to thank all the participants. We would like to thank also Emiliano Carnieri, was a partner of TREAT and representing the Tuscany region, for being present and following us in this project, which is so related to the Tyrrhenian cycle way, which is assisting to implement. And we would like to thank EUCI for attending it, all the participants, and of course all the partners for the trust in Livorno province and in this project, which we have brought to end today. Michela, non so se vuoi aggiungere qualcosa. So, thank you very much, and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and happy new projects.
Thank you so much.
Alina.